What's up, everybody? This is Kayana Miller from the Hear Me Out Sports Podcast, and I am super excited. NFL season is starting very soon, less than a day. So we're here to bring you our wide receiver stardom sit-em for week one. I'm going to be your wide receiver guru all year. Jace is going to be taking care of quarterbacks and tight ends, and Chance is going to be giving you guys advice on the running backs. So tune in if you want to hear about receivers for me. I'll be doing the weekly stardom sit-em. Probably every Wednesday, you guys will be seeing the video. So again, super excited. Bills Rams coming up in less than a day, and all of us should be watching. Let's be honest. I'm not a fan of the Bills. I'm not a fan of the Rams, but I'm definitely going to be watching the game. So excited. We're going to be having NFL football for the next 5-6 months starting on Thursday. So super pumped. Again, come to you right now, talking stardom sit-em with the wide receivers. So kicking off first again with this Thursday night game, the Bills and the Rams. So I guess real quick before I start, I want to tell everyone what the threshold is for what we consider a stardom and what we consider a sit-em. So looking back over the last few years, a top 36 wide receiver averaged 12 points per game. And so we consider a wide receiver 36 as a wide receiver 3 because a 12-team league, 12 times 3, 36 guys, right? So if you want a wide receiver 3 or better, which is what you should be shooting for, then you want guys who are going to score 12 points a game or more on average. So just looking at weekly, though, obviously they might not finish as a top 36 wide receiver, but on a weekly basis, if they can score more than 12 points, then they're usually going to get you a wide receiver 3 finish on the week. So again, our threshold for stardom is if we think they're going to score at least 12 points, and our sit-em is if we think they're going to score less than 12 points. So that's what we're going with here. It's not a love-hate. It's not, hey, Justin Jefferson's projected to have 35 points, and we think he's only going to have 20. No, this is straight up. If we think they're going to have more than 12 points, we're going to put him start him. If we think they're going to have less points, we're going to put him sit him. So, again, wide receivers here, talking Buffalo Bills, LA Rams first off. Bills side, Stephon Diggs, he's going to be my start this week for the Bills. I think that he's going to have a big game, a big start to the season. He's already got that super continuity, obviously, with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to have a great year. I'm not super high on Gabe Davis, specifically in this game. I think that the Rams are going to do some stuff to blanket coverage one of the two receivers, either Diggs or Davis. But I think Diggs is too talented to be held in check. I think he'll for sure have at least 12 points this game. Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, I don't think are going to find the end zone, and I don't think that either of them are going to top 6 catches, 6 yards plus game. So they might get a couple more yards but have less catches, or have a few more catches but a lot less yards. So I think that Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie are sits this week. I think that the Rams secondary is good enough, and their pass rush is good enough that Josh Allen's not going to have time to just sit back and throw to 3 different guys. So I got Stephon Diggs as my stardom on the Bills side, and I'm sitting Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie. On the Rams side, I think the Bills D is definitely good, obviously, but they have some injury concerns in the secondary right now. A couple guys still come back from injury, probably need to get ramped up to game speed still. So I think Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson are both going to get you at least 12 points this game. I don't think Van Jefferson is. I don't think they'll have 3 guys that produce. I also think that the running backs on the Rams side, even though their team typically likes to run more, aren't going to be as effective. So I think that they're going to be relying on throwing the ball more here to beat the Bills, whereas the Bills have 3 different running backs that they might be checking down passes to, and Josh Allen himself likes to run a lot. So I don't think that it's outrageous to say that the Bills maybe win the game, but only have one guy on their receiving core that tops 12 points. But Rams side, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson. I think Kupp's going to be a stardom no matter what every week. Even if you don't think he's going to score a lot of points, you kind of have to start him, especially where you drafted him with your average draft position. So, yeah, Kupp and Robinson with the Rams, I think, are going to top that 12 points. Moving on to the Saints and the Falcons, Sunday 1 p.m. kickoff Eastern time. So I got the Saints having Chris Olave. I'm a big believer in Olave this year. I think he's going to be the Saints' overall wide receiver 1 on the year. Michael Thomas, sit him. He's got a hamstring injury. No surprise there. So no confidence in him until I actually see him back on the field. It's been so long since he's been on the field that Todd Gurley was still playing. Des Bryant was still playing when Michael Thomas was back on the field. So, yeah, no faith in Michael Thomas until he can prove he's healthy. Jarvis Landry, I like him, but not in this game against the Falcons. I think that the Saints are going to run the ball a lot. I think the Falcons' D overall is not going to be very good, and their offense definitely isn't going to be scoring a lot of points to force the Saints to throw. So I think Olave sneaks in just over 12 points, but not by much. I think this is going to be mostly a running game for the Saints. Atlanta Falcons, like I said, offense is not going to be that great. I think Pitts is going to take up the vast majority of the targets in this game, and I think they're going to try to run the ball as well as throw it to Cordero Patterson out of the backfield. So I don't think any of the receivers top that 12-point threshold. I think Drake London, especially, is still injured right now. I do think he's going to play in week 1, but I don't think he's going to see 12-plus points. And Bryan Edwards, he's got a decent ceiling, I guess, but he hasn't proven yet that he can be consistent. So, especially with the Falcons team with Marcus Mariota. So, liking to see what happens there, but I don't think that any of the Falcons wideouts are stardoms this week. I think you sit everyone on the Falcons wide receiving core. Maybe I would start Pitts, obviously, but he's not a receiver. So, we're going to sit all the Falcons wideouts this week. Moving on to my team, Carolina Panthers. Let's go. Go Panthers. Go Baker. Playing a revenge game against his Cleveland Browns. So it took everything I had not to put 2 receivers on the Panthers side in the stardom column. DJ Moore, I think, is a lock to start throughout the year. I think Baker's going to feed him. I think DJ Moore is super consistent. He's proved that over the last 3 years, only receiver with at least 1,200 yards receiving over the last 3 years. And I think he's going to have a huge game because I think Baker's going to want to throw, and he's going to want to throw to his best guy. So I think that Moore's going to carve up the Browns. I think the Panthers are going to blow them out, to be honest. Terrace Marshall Jr. is actually not even my third guy on the radar for the Panthers. I think Shi Smith will probably have a better game than him. Robbie Anderson, I do like, and it's possible that he has a deep touchdown, but I don't think he'll top the 12-point threshold. I think that the Panthers are going to use Christian McCaffrey a lot. They're going to try to – I think there's going to be quite a few kind of goal line plays where they're running the ball instead of throwing it. I do think, though, that Baker will use his tight ends. I'm expecting at least one touchdown pass to a tight end on the Panthers this week, but that kind of affects the receivers, takes away opportunities from them. So only DJ Moore to start this week for the Panthers, but look out for more Panthers receivers in the future to be stardoms. On the Cleveland Browns side, literally zero faith in any of their wideouts outside of Amari Cooper. And the only reason I even have Amari Cooper up there is because I think they're going to be trailing and they're going to have to throw the ball. So Jacoby Brissett, who is not a legit week-to-week starter for anyone in the NFL, is starting the game for the Browns. So I think that he's going to just throw it up to his big man, Amari Cooper, and also to David Njoku, but Njoku's tight end. So I don't think any of the wideouts have much of a big game. I don't even think Amari Cooper does much outside of the stat sheet, but I'm predicting more than 5 catches for him. So if he gets anywhere from 60 to 70 yards, he's probably going to have that 12-point threshold. So yeah, I got Amari Cooper as a stardom for the Browns this week. Niners, you can see I don't have anyone starting. That might be surprising, but I don't have Debo or Ayuk as stardoms this week. Trey Lance, I have to see it before I believe it, and Trey Lance has the ability to run, and so I think that's going to hurt his wide receivers' production throughout the year. I also think he's going to be relying on guys over the middle of the field, specifically George Kittle, and I think the Niners, of course, are going to run the ball in that Kyle Shanahan offense. So I don't have anyone on the Niners as stardoms this week on the wideout core, because I got to see it to believe it with Trey Lance. I know a lot of people are high on him, but I got to see him throw the ball to receivers in games consistently enough before I start putting his receivers as stardoms. Chicago Bears, Darnell Mooney is like the only guy on their team that they have to throw the ball to, and I think they're going to be trailing. So it might be garbage time points, but I do think Fields is going to get some good, deeper completions to Mooney of 15-plus yards, and I think Mooney's going to break that 12-point threshold. But Byron Pringle, kind of that cast off from the Chiefs, and then Velus Jones, the rookie. I think Velus might have a decent year, between 500, 700 yards total receiving. I just don't think it starts against a good Niners defense this week. So I got only one guy to start in this game, and it's Darnell Mooney on the wideout core for the Chicago Bears. Moving on to the Steelers-Bengals. So Steelers side, I was kind of going back and forth. Stardom, I think Deontay Johnson, as long as he plays, he's still got some health concerns right now where he might miss this week. But if he plays, I think he's a for sure stardom. His target share alone should push him over that 12 points this game, especially against the Bengals, who I don't think the Bengals defense, although it is improved, I don't think they've improved enough to really stop people from scoring entirely. So I think that the Steelers are going to have to kind of keep up and score to win the game. So I got Deontay Johnson with a lot of target share. And then Chase Claypool has kind of been slept on throughout the offseason. I think that with Pat Freiermuth, the tight end, and Deontay Johnson on the outside, that Chase Claypool is going to have a lot of space in the middle, and he's a huge target for Mitch Trubisky. So I think Claypool and Deontay Johnson are both stardoms this week for the Steelers. On the Bengals side, I actually don't have T. Higgins as a stardom. I'm sitting T. Higgins this week, And my thinking is it's a good Steelers defense. I think that the Bengals aren't going to be able to maybe run the balls efficiently. They're going to have to throw it for sure. But I got Jamar Chase as that main target, and then Tyler Boyd because I think that the safety coverage is going to be kind of coming down over the top over either T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. So I went back and forth on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who I should put in my stardom. I think Jamar Chase is going to have a better game, and I think Tyler Boyd's going to see those opportunities over the middle because most of the focus is going to be on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So I got Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase as stardoms for the Bengals, but sit T. Higgins this week. If you want good advice, that's it. Sit T. Higgins this week. Eagles Lions now. Eagles A.J. Brown, new acquisition this offseason. He's going to have a huge game against a pretty bad Lions defense still. They have improved for sure, but still pretty bad Lions defense overall. So A.J. Brown's a must start. The only reason I don't have Devontae Smith up here is because I think the Eagles are going to be winning by a good enough margin that they're going to start running the ball most of the second half. And with Jalen Hurts, who's already a running quarterback, coupled with the Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, who can both catch passes out of the backfield, as well as Dallas Goedert as the tight end. I think Devontae Smith just doesn't get enough volume this week to start against the Lions. So that's why I have him in my sit-em. On the Lions side, I start Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not as high on him as most people are. I do like him, though, and I think, again, they're going to be trailing, and he's going to be Jared Goff's number one target. So they're going to feed Amon-Ra the Brown through Amon-Ra the Brown. They're going to feed Amon-Ra St. Brown the ball in this game, especially when they're down in the second half. So look for him to have a pretty decent game. DJ Chark, Josh Reynolds are both sit-ems for me this week for the Lions. I think they're going to use their backfield as well as TJ Hawkinson, their tight end, quite a bit. So look to start Amon-Ra, but that's about it for the Lions on the wideouts. Moving on to Colts Texans. So division rivalry game, AFC South. I like the Colts, obviously, to win and probably win big. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to get 25-plus touches, so that limits the opportunity for the wideouts. Matt Ryan has pretty much always throughout his career fed his wide receiver one high volume of targets, so Michael Pittman's going to get that. I think Michael Pittman breaks that 12-point threshold. I like Alec Pierce throughout the year, but I don't have him as a starter in this game because I think that game script with the Colts leading by quite a bit throughout the game is going to prevent them from throwing, so yeah, I got Michael Pittman as the only one there. Houston, exact opposite. So I think Houston's going to have to throw the ball quite a bit to win. I know Dameon Pierce out of the backfield for them, the rookie, is all the hype right now, but I don't think he's going to see much success against a pretty good Indianapolis Colts front eight. So give me Brandon Cooks, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable. He'll break 12. And then I'll throw in Nico Collins as well because of game script. Like I said, he's going to get some trash time points, and he'll break that 12-point threshold. He's to start him this week for the Texans. Pats Dolphins, another division game. I like Miami a lot this year, and I have almost no faith in the Patriots offense, but not because of their players. It's more because of their play calling. I don't know. I trust Bill Belichick. He's one of, if not the greatest football coach of all time, for sure, but I don't know what he's doing right now with play calling. I think that it's a bit of a concern. So until we really see how that shakes out and if their offense is able to move the ball, I'm kind of sitting all those wide receivers for the Patriots, especially an unfavorable matchup against the Miami Dolphins, who's got a great defense, but specifically their secondary is extremely loaded. So I don't think any of the Patriots wide receivers have much of a day. I think if anything, it's Hunter Henry that has a decent day in the passing game, going against a relatively weak linebacking core for the Dolphins. But the secondary is going to shut down the wide receivers for the Patriots this week. So no one to start this week on the New England side. On the Dolphins side, give me Jalen Waddle, give me Tyreek Hill. I know it's the Patriots defense. I know they're really good. Tyreek Hill has carved him up his entire career. So he's played him 4 times. He's never scored less than 12 points in a game. He's scored 40. He's scored over 40 as many times as he's scored less than 15 against the Patriots in his career. So give me Tyreek Hill as a for sure start. And then Jalen Waddle as well, I think will benefit from that Tyreek Hill coverage. They're going to be looking to try to stop him, especially when he's getting started early. So give me Jalen Waddle with a lot of short passes from Tua, who likes to throw those quick slants. He might not have a ton of yards, but he's going to have quite a few catches. So I think Jalen Waddle breaks that 12-point threshold as well. Cedric Wilson, I'm off him this week. I think that Waddle and Hill are the 2 guys that you want on the Dolphins this week. So start Waddle, start Hill, sit Wilson. Ravens and Jets. So I think that Lamar Jackson will have a decent year. He might even have a decent year passing, but I believe in the Jets secondary. I really do. So I don't like any of the wide receivers on Baltimore. They traded the best wide receiver and they pretty much indicated that they're going to go back to that run heavy / throw it to the tight end approach. They got Isaiah Likely as the rookie tight end who looked really good. They still have Mark Andrews, who's a dominant tight end, best tight end in fantasy football last year. So they're going to throw the ball to the tight ends when they do throw it, and they're going to run the ball most of the game. So Rashad Bateman, Devin DuVernay, James Prochet, I don't care who it is, sit them all if they're a Ravens wideout. They're not going to have anything going this week for them. You might get a lucky break and have a deep touchdown pass, but that's basically your only hope. So if you don't want to bet on that home run ball, sit all the Ravens wide receivers. On the Jets side, I think it actually benefits most of their wideouts that Zach Wilson's not going to be able to play. By all accounts, they were much better with anyone else but Zach Wilson last year when we're talking fantasy production. So Elijah Moore, I think, is going to have a breakout year, and it's going to start with Joe Flacco here in week 1. I think that he's going to have a really good game and that he's going to for sure top those 12 points. Garrett Wilson, I didn't really like what I saw from him throughout the preseason, throughout training camp. I'm a little bit lower on him than I was when the Jets first drafted him. So Garrett Wilson, I kind of want to see him do something first before I start believing in him. But Elijah Moore, give me Elijah Moore all day. I have him in most of my fantasy leagues. So I practice what I preach. Love Elijah Moore. I'm starting him this week. I'm probably going to start him most games of the season. He's going to be my breakout player this year. So give me Elijah Moore all day. Next game, Jags Commanders. Probably going to be one of the least watched games this week. But I like the Jags, Marvin Jones Jr. I know they brought in Christian Kirk. That was their big money receiver this offseason. But Marvin Jones has been Trevor Lawrence's go-to all last year. And he honestly had a quiet but good year last year. And that's in a bad offense with a terrible coaching staff. So give me Marvin Jones Jr. to have a good game until Christian Kirk can build that continuity with Trevor Lawrence. I think Marvin Jones Jr. is the receiver to own in Jacksonville until then. So give it a few weeks, 3-4 weeks. I think Jones will be the top receiver there in Jacksonville before Christian Kirk builds that continuity enough in games to kind of take over there. So start Marvin Jones this week, sit Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. On the Commander side, I'm playing Terry McLaurin. He's awesome. He's been good with really bad quarterbacks. I think Carson Wentz, honestly, is probably the best quarterback he's played with so far in his career. So I think he'll have a good day against a Jags defense that's still rebuilding. So give me Terry McLaurin. I think Curtis Samuel, if they use him in that gadget role, could potentially break the 12 points. But I'm off Curtis Samuel this week. And Jahan Dotson I liked on the season. But, again, I think that they're going to be throwing mostly to Terry McLaurin, as well as trying to get Antonio Gibson some touches out of the backfield. So give me McLaurin as the only stardom for the Washington Commanders this week on the wideouts. Giants-Titans, there's only one receiver worth starting this week for either team, and that's Wan'Dale Robinson, the rookie the rookie for the New York Giants. I think he's going to have a really good game. He kind of was quiet. You didn't hear a ton of talk about him from most of the media, which is surprising with that New York media. But Wan'Dale Robinson, by all accounts, had a really good offseason. The Giants like what they see. They've listed him as a starter on their initial depth chart. All those are good signs, especially with Kenny Golladay, the veteran, huge signing from a year ago, who's done absolutely nothing for them. And the reports were that he looked like a mannequin running routes in the offseason. He was just being lazy and stiff as a board. So I think Daniel Jones is going to be throwing the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson. I think Wan'Dale is going to get him more than 12 points. I do like Saquon this year coming out of the backfield, so I think he'll take some target share for sure. But give me Wan'Dale Robinson as the receiver to start out of the Giants this week. Tennessee Titans are just going to be running the ball. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a huge game, and that kind of takes away all the opportunity from the receivers. Treylon Burks, a ton of people are high on him. I'm not. So, no stardoms for the wide receivers on the Tennessee Titans this week. It's going to be mostly tight ends and running backs this week for Tennessee. Cardinals, Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to have a great game. I do think the Chiefs are going to win the game. Give me Juju as the receiver to own. I know that Patrick Mahomes came out and said it's going to be kind of receiver by committee. It's going to change each week, but I think Juju is going to be the guy to own all year through for the Chiefs. Best quarterback he's ever played with. Juju's had great production in the past. He's the only receiver that is on the Chiefs right now. So give me Juju as the stardom this week. I'm sitting MVS. I'm sitting Mecole. I'm sitting Sky Moore. I do like Sky Moore. I think he'll have a couple good games, just not in week 1 as he adjusts to NFL defenses. So give me Juju as the guy to own. On the Cardinal side, they're going to be throwing it pretty much nonstop. And unlike the Chiefs, they don't have a top 2 tight end in the league. So I think Hollywood's going to have a big game, Marquise Brown. And I think Rondale Moore filling in that wide receiver 2 role while DeAndre Hopkins sits. I think they're both going to have big games. This is going to be a high-scoring game, probably the highest-scoring game of the week. So give me Marquise Hollywood and Rondell Moore as both stardoms for the Arizona Cardinals. AJ Green, stay off him, stay away. He looked old. He looked slow last year. I don't think he's going to be getting faster as age gets older. So start Hollywood, start Rondell, but sit AJ Green. Raiders, Chargers, a big division game in the AFC West. Give me Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow for the Raiders. I don't care what anyone says about, there's not going to be enough people. There's not going to be enough targets to go around. I think there are. Davante Adams, you got to start him every week if he's on your roster until he proves otherwise. So he's going to have a big game. I think that him and Derek Carr obviously had a great college career together. So Davante Adams is going to start off his Raiders tenure big, and he's going to show out for the Raiders here. Hunter Renfrow, Mr. Reliable. I think he'll benefit greatly from Davante Adams kind of blowing the top off defenses, and a lot of attention be focused on him. Hunter Renfrow is going to be running a lot of underneath crossing routes and just have a good target share. So on catches alone, I think that Hunter Renfrow is a must start this week against the Chargers, especially because by all accounts this should be a pretty high scoring game. So give me two guys to start for the Raiders, Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow. On the Chargers side, again, I said it's going to be a high-scoring game. I only have Keenan Allen as a stardom this week, and that's because I think that Austin Eckler is going to get a lot of target share, as well as Justin Herbert likes to use his tight ends, so I think that he throws his tight ends a decent amount in this game, especially against the Raiders, who their linebacking core is honestly not very good right now. So I think the middle of the field will mostly be open. So give me Keenan Allen as the receiver to own for the Chargers this week. I'm kind of low on Mike Williams. I think he's a big play guy, and I don't know if he's going to get the big play this week against the Raiders. Again, in week one, the defenses usually have advantage as the offenses kind of adjust to the up tempo of the defense in the NFL. So give me the Keenan Allen is the only guy to start for the Chargers wide receivers this week. Packers-Vikings, NFC North rivalry game here, and honestly, this could be an early showdown of who's going to win the division this year. So Packers, I actually have no one to start on the Packers wide receivers, and it's not because I don't think any of them can. It's because I have literally no idea who Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing the ball to. So I would just say avoid it unless you have to play one. If I was picking a guy to start, it'd probably be Romeo Doubs. I think that he had a good showing, and reports are that he's been like eating lunch and stuff with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it means anything. Aaron Rodgers is kind of a quirky guy, though, so I guess that's a good sign. But I'm sitting all the Packers receivers until I figure out who Aaron Rodgers trusts and will throw the ball to. And once I figure that out, then I'll start starting some. But yeah, I'm definitely off them. I think that Aaron Rodgers mostly throws the running backs this week. On the Viking side, give me Jefferson, of course. Shouldn't even have to explain that. And then Adam Thielen's going to have another good year this year. He was drafted way too low in drafts this year. So give me Adam Thielen, give me Justin Jefferson, and then Dalvin Cook's going to be taking up a bunch of targets and a bunch of touches, and Irv Smith as well. So those two receivers, JJ and Adam Thielen, are going to be the guys to own on the Vikings this week and to start. Bucks Cowboys, another potentially high scoring game here. Give me Mike Evans and actually Julio Jones as the receivers to own and start on the Bucks this week. I think Chris Godwin's still dealing with some minor injuries. I think he'll play, but I don't know if he'll be the go-to guy more than he's going to be a decoy. So give me Mike Evans, give me Julio Jones. Julio Jones, big breakout year coming up. He's a legit vet. He's going to be playing that AB role, and we all know that Tom Brady loved playing with Antonio Bryant until Antonio Bryant kind of just went psycho. So give me Julio Jones as filling in that role. He'll have a good game. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys is the only receiver really that's reliable for them. And even then, it's semi-reliable with his dropping, with his habits of dropping passes. So give me CeeDee Lamb as the stardom guy for the Cowboys this week. Again, it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that Dallas is going to try to run the ball, but when they're trailing or if the running game stalls, I think CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz are going to be the guys that Dak's throwing the ball to. So CeeDee Lamb start, Jalen Tolbert sit, everyone else on the Cowboys wideouts obviously sit. Moving on to our Monday night game, we got the Broncos, we got the Seahawks. Russ returning back home to Seattle. He's going to carve them up. Seattle's terrible this year. Russ is going to feed Sutton. He's going to feed Judy. I think it's going to be a showcase game for Russ. I think the Denver coaching staff is going to want to give Russell Wilson that opportunity to kind of really go back at his old team and kind of have a good little revenge game, even though it doesn't seem like there's much animosity there between Seattle and Russell. I think that they had a good marriage there for a little while, and then they both just moved on. So give me Sutton, give me Judy as both guys that start for sure for the Broncos. And then the Seahawks side, like I said, Seahawks are going to be bad this year. They're going to be trailing in this game. They're going to have to throw. I think they're going to try to pound it with Rashad Penny, but when you're down by 20 in the third quarter, you're going to have to start throwing the ball. So DK Metcalf's the guy for me, purely off of he's a big athletic target and your quarterbacks are bad, so they're going to throw to the big athletic guy. Give me DK Metcalf. I do like Tyler Lockett. He's been consistent throughout his career, but I think Metcalf's the guy to own for sure. So give me DK. He's going to score more than 12 points because Seattle's going to have to throw the ball most of the game here. So those are my stardom situms for this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys think I'm going crazy. Also, call me out, especially next week, if I've missed a bunch of these things and it ruined your guys' games and you sat people because I told you sat people and they scored a bunch of points. Call me out. Tell me I'm an idiot. Blame me for everything. And maybe we'll throw you some cash to kind of help cover down your guys' league fees. And I'm being serious there. So hit me up. Let me know. Also, I'm the resident statistician here at HMO Sports. Let me know if you guys want me to look into anything specifically on the stats side. I'm definitely willing to do it. Like I said, I have a statistical desk background, so I'm not going to just tell you guys, oh, yeah, this guy averages 10 yards a game, so start him. No, not about that. You guys want me to dig into stuff, I'll dig into stuff for you and let you know the details and the statistical test results. I'm not one of these analysts that just says just stats on their face. I'll actually dig in. I'll do the tests that matter, and I'll let you know if stuff is significant. So, as always, we're here for you. I'm going to start reading the mailbag questions that we've been getting on Twitter and on Instagram about guys that we should start or sit, as well as trades that maybe should or shouldn't happen. I got some thoughts on that. So look forward to more individuals videos from me, from Chance, and from Jace, but also for us bringing you debate on the fantasy football realm. So, we're excited to be here. Again, we'll be pushing out content all week, all year, pretty much every day. So follow us at HMO Sports Official on Twitter as well as on Instagram. We're here for you guys. When in doubt, hear me out.